While Red Bull might now sit atop both championships, it is hard to deny that Ferrari has the fastest car on the grid. Charles Leclerc has qualified on the front row in every race so far this season, taking poles in 4 of them, but what is it about the F175 that makes it so fast, and why Ferrari has been unable to convert that pace into more points? The last 2 races have been filled with disappointment for Charles Leclerc. He has been Ferrari's fastest driver so far in 2022, beating his teammate to the checkered flag in the 5 of the 7 races this season. He has also out-qualified his teammate Carlos Sainz in every race. Carlos's lines have hardly been slow. When he has avoided crashing in qualifying, he has always qualified in the top 3. We need to take a bit of a deep dive into the technical aspects of the F175 to work out what is giving them so much speed. We have some sick new animations to show this off, so stick with me. In Barcelona, Charles Leclerc was pretty much guaranteed a win after the first 19 laps of the race. He was so much faster than anyone else on the track, he had gained a huge lead by the time his engine gave up. He was 13.5 seconds clear of Russell in second place, and with Max Verstappen having no DRs, there was no chance of anyone catching him. Leclerc's Ferrari suffered forced induction, overheating localized to the compressor. The turbine, which was working at 120,000 RPM, was subjected to thermal stress. It means that the materials it was composed of got too hot. The compressor then deformed to a point where it was unable to cool the engine, and bang, Charles Leclerc's race was over. At the Circuit de Barcelona, drivers are on the accelerator for 73% of the lap. When you couple that with the record-breaking temperatures over the race weekend, it's surprising more cars didn't suffer from engine problems. Like we said, before that happened, Charles Leclerc was flying. Mattia Binotto spoke briefly over Spanish Grand Prix weekend about the team's development. In the next few races, development will be the key. After 6 races, our team has been able to evolve the car in the right direction, which is an important element. So, what direction have they been able to develop in so far? Well, the first thing they have been able to do is improve the air quality that is going into the ground effect floor. This has been a priority for many teams' development plans due to the floor having such a huge influence over how the cars performed this season. Part of the issue for some teams is that the wake coming off the front wheels is very disruptive, creating turbulence under the car in the corners. When the cars turn, the angle that the turbulence leaves the wheels changes. This turbulence then travels inside the wide deflectors, which are part of the new car regulations imposed by the FIA, disturbing the airflow powering the floor. Ferrari has studied this effect and created a taller and longer deflector which works as a protection screen against the turbulence. The new design features part of the turbulence outside of the floor, neutralizing the negative effects in the corners when a high downforce level is required. Thanks to the higher quality of air going under the car in the corners, Ferrari has been far faster than its rival Red Bull through the corners. This was on show in Monaco in round 7 of the 2022 season. Monaco, as a track, requires an incredibly high level of downforce. The street circuit features a large portion of slow corners, and having a lot of downforce allows you to go faster through those slow corners. The Ferrari drivers utilize this to their advantage in qualifying and managed to look out the front of the grid. Unfortunately for Leclerc, his pit wall team has a meltdown during the race, making numerous mistakes that cost him track position in time. "It was a freaky disaster today," said Leclerc after the race in Monaco. He had gained a 5-second lead over Carlos while the track was still soaked from the rain. "The win was clearly in our hands. We had the performance, we had everything. I just really don't understand the call that I had, and I need explanations for now. I couldn't do much. I was called just before the last corner, so I couldn't react or ask for any information. But that was clearly the wrong choice. We need to get better." Leclerc had every right to be angry at his team. He drove an excellent race up until the point that his team pitted him in the wrong time and then called him by accident and forced him to sit in the pit lane waiting for the signs to get his new tires fitted. Once the Monegasque had lost track position, there was no way for him to get around. Max was to happen in the 3rd place. The tight streets of Monaco make overtaking impossible unless the driver in front makes a big mistake. The Ferrari engineers had given him the perfect vehicle to win the race, as well as a win that would have given him back the lead in the Drivers' Championship, by the way. Ferrari were able to make use of their incredible electro-hydraulic differential around the slow-speed track. The EDIF system gives more torque to the outside tire as the F175 accelerates through the corner. This allows the car to turn more aggressively and precisely. The same thing happens when the drivers get on the brakes during the entry to the corner. The differential, which applies the engine braking and the negative torque to the MGUK to the tires, shifts a higher braking percentage to the internal tire. This creates a torque vectoring effect and sets a trim angle to the corner, improving the entry line. It is an effect that Carlos Sainz has apparently struggled with so far, but that really suits Leclerc, make no mistake about it. Ferrari would have won the Monaco Grand Prix if it wasn't for those strategy errors. Luckily for Ferrari, they can make use of this car setup in the next race as well. The Azerbaijan Grand Prix that's defined by its close quarter racing and tight turns. Ferrari should be able to make full use of their atop system around the track. With the team now 36 points behind Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship and Leclerc 9 points behind Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship, they will be eager to leave their mistakes in Monaco and get back to winning ways. After the race at Baku, Ferrari will have to deal with the demands of the Montreal Grand Prix in Canada. At both tracks, cars will need to be able to cope with low-speed corners while also being able to make the most of the higher-speed sections. To achieve this section, Ferrari are going back to the wind tunnel to get a new front wing configuration dialed in and optimize the low drag configuration. The air is channeled to the Venturi tunnels through the inlet boxes, which have recently received new fins. This improves the terrain while also letting extra air out the side of the vehicle. The fins generate a vortex that forms a wall that prevents the surrounding air from passing through. As a result, the expansion flow from the Venturi tunnels and the rear diffuser can do their job of expelling air and producing a low pressure zone that pulls the car to the ground. This prevents the underflow airflow from getting messed up. Ferrari will also try to take advantage of the heated air with low density that moves near to the body. They have fresh paint that better transfers heat. It implies that more heat will be removed from the engine by the turbulent air moving over the body. The scooter rear is hoping that this would prevent them from repeatedly shrugging. Claire's car overheated in Spain as a result of the electro-hydraulic differential and cutting-edge floor deflectors that had given it a significant advantage over the competition in the previous 2 races. Should also give them the upper hand in the following 2 races. Ferrari must take full advantage of the fact that they are the fastest vehicles on starting row in Baku and Montreal. However, when Formula One travels to Silverstone for round 10 on July 3rd, the advantage will be with the car that is the best low downforce setup, which at this time appears to be the Red Bull. They have been developing their cars to make the most of the slow-speed circuits. For now though, Red Bull might sit atop the championship tables, but Ferrari definitely has the fastest car.